Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show, NFL edition. And it's presented to you by Magnos Dentistry out of Belo Horizonte, Brazil, in the beautiful state of Minas Gerais. Welcome to the show. And we're going to talk about the NFL and the Thanksgiving Day games. And we're going to be doing that with hip hop artist Antoine Real Stewart, and also Aaron Too Tall Moore. So they're going to be joining us momentarily. So while we wait on those guys to, join us, let's look at the Thanksgiving Day games that are lined up for us. We got a real strong set of games coming up on Thanksgiving Day. And it's going to start out with the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. The Green Bay Packers, my personal favorite. They got a heck of a task going into Detroit to play the Lions. That's going to be at 1 p.m. on Fox. And Green Bay's got this game that they need to win. It's in Detroit. The Lions are going to be looking for revenge as Green Bay knocked them out the first game of the year. And they dominated the Lions. And if we're really being honest, the Lions don't look like the Lions of the last couple of years. They're still good, but they don't seem to be as supreme as they were past couple of seasons. But they're still good, and they're going to be at home, and it's going to be in Thanksgiving. And they lead the series against Green Bay 12-9-1 on Thanksgiving Day overall. So, this is the Packers have to go in here and take care of business. They're 7-3-1, second in the division, and they need to take care of business. Jordan Love is not playing like Aaron Rodgers, like we thought he would, or Brett Favre, but he's not either one of those guys. He's got to be Jordan Love. And all he's got to do is he's actually more of a game manager, is what we're asking Jordan Love to do in Green Bay. At the end of the day, you have a running game, give the ball to Josh Jacobs, rely on your defense. I think we're the sixth best defense in the NFL. A high rate of pressure we put on opposing quarterbacks. Jared Goff does not like that. But the Green Bay Packers have a recipe, a formula to get to the Super Bowl, just like Detroit. It just depends on which team shows up. That's going to be at 1 o'clock tomorrow on Thanksgiving. By the way, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. That's going to be tomorrow at 1 o'clock on Fox. Now, at 4:25, this could be the game of the day tomorrow. The Kansas City Chiefs at 6-5 are struggling. And they're going into a Dallas Cowboy stadium at AT&T, where the Cowboys are hot at 5-1. And both teams need this game. And I just think the Chiefs and the Cowboys are probably the game of the day. We thought it was Green Bay and the Lions, a good one, but this is the game of the day. 4:25 on CBS Paramount. Dak Prescott playing like maybe one of the top three quarterbacks in the NFL today. And they've got, a great offense. Defense isn't very good. And the Chiefs have to exploit that. For all the Dallas Cowboy fans out there that are starting to go, ooh, I think we might have a shot at the Super Bowl. Stop. You're good. You're looking better than we thought. I don't even know if I want to call you good yet, but you're dangerous. I think that's the proper description for the Dallas Cowboys. They're dangerous. And they're hungry, and they do want the playoffs, and they want to get past this idiotic move that Jerry Jones made by trading Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. So, they're going to be hungry, got a lot to prove, and the Chiefs really are fighting for their playoff lives at this point. They need to get this game won. They barely beat the Colts, and they got to win this one. As a matter of fact, they're in must-win mode in Kansas City right now. And they haven't looked like the Chiefs that we remember over the past, 5 seasons? They just haven't. So this is going to be the game of the day. 425, get your turkey, get your mac and cheese, get your rice and gravy and your stuffing and your cornbread and your pecan pie and your chocolate cakes. Get it all ready because this is going to be the game of the day. 425 once again on CBS and Paramount. Now, coming up at 8:20 p.m. later that night, this is not the game of the day, but not a bad one. The Cincinnati Bengals travel to Maryland to take on the Baltimore Ravens on NBC Paramount tomorrow night at 8:20 as we wind down the evening of eating. And this is actually a pretty decent matchup. Joe Burrow returns to the field. He'll be starting for Cincinnati. I think we can all say that they're pretty much out of it, but you don't want to play Joe Burrow and you're trying to get into the playoffs, which the Baltimore Ravens are trying to do. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They've had nothing but cupcakes over the last 3 weeks. And the Bengals, without Joe Burrow, would be that 4th cupcake, but Burrow's there. And so this makes for a really intriguing AFC North matchup as the Bengals and the Ravens will strap it on and go at it at 8:20 tomorrow night on NBC Paramount. So you don't want to miss that. And as I say all of that, the Maurice Brown Show NFL edition is being brought to you by Magnos Dentistry out of Belo Horizonte, Brazil, in the beautiful state of Minas Gerais. Americans travel to Brazil often to save on dental / healthcare costs. And if you're interested in getting down there and getting some dental work done, hey, contact Maurice Brown Comedy Hour. We'll help facilitate a way for you to get there. So we're talking NFL on the Maurice Brown Show NFL edition. We should be joined a little bit later on by hip hop artist Antoine, Real, Stewart, and Aaron Too Tall. More. Let's look at some of the top teams in the NFL right now. And you really think about who are the top teams. Let's look at the AFC. If I looked at the AFC right now as it stands, the top 5 teams in that conference would be the New England Patriots, the Denver Broncos, the Indianapolis Colts, Buffalo Bills, and guess what? Guess who? The Jacksonville Jaguars are sitting there in the top 5 in the AFC. I mean, they have had a weird year, up and down. And at one point, you thought they might have experienced a knockout blow around week 5 or 6. They look pretty bad. They looked great in the beginning, then they look absolutely horrible. And then now they're starting to look kind of good again at 7-4. So they make our top 5 list. And there's no mention of the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, and barely a mention of the Buffalo Bills, who are sitting at 7-4, and they hang in there, and they're in this top 5. We expected them to be a Super Bowl lock for all intents and purposes, along with Baltimore and Kansas City, and neither of the 3 have really looked that way. And look who's at the top, the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos. We didn't think that either one of these teams, much less the Indianapolis Colts, would be one of the 3 best teams in the NFL, certainly the AFC. Nobody saw that. And granted, New England's had a pretty easy, fairly cupcake schedule, but they're 10-2. And 10-2 is 10-2. You beat the teams that you're supposed to beat, you should get credit for that. And then Denver at 9-2, looking like I will say that at the end of the day, as we get closer to the end of the season, that Baltimore, Buffalo, and Kansas City will start to show who they really are. And we'll find out, if the Patriots, because right now the Patriots are on pace to get a number 1 seed. And I can see them getting bounced in the first round, just depending on who they play. 10-2 is a really nice record, but the playoffs are a different animal. We'll see. I mean, the Patriots could go to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they're not going to, but we're going to find out what they're all about once we get into postseason, when they start to see some teams that that have some muscle. Again, i.e., Baltimore. Heck, even the Chargers, who were really disappointing at 7-4. This is a different animal. The playoffs is just a different animal. But anyway, those are my top 5 for the AFC. The NFC, I have them as follows: the Los Angeles Rams at number 1, followed by Philadelphia, the Seattle Seahawks, the San Francisco 49ers, and look who's here, the Chicago Bears at 8-3. They're much like New England. Their schedule's not been that difficult, but they deserve credit for being 8-3. They've won the games that they're supposed to win. And even in those games, it looked like there's no way in the world they should have come out on top, but somehow they did. And they're 8-3, and they're deserving of 5th best in the NFC. But I think the Rams right now are looking like the best team in the NFL. I mean, Matthew Stafford is playing at an MVP level. The Philadelphia Eagles are looking a little bit dysfunctional. And then you start to wonder and look around, okay, what's wrong with Philadelphia? Are we starting to see a team implode like they did 3 years ago? The year before Saquon got there, they started out the year 10-1 and then proceeded to lose their next 5 and got bounced the first round playoff. So A.J. Brown, okay, all this murmuring and mumbling groaning going on is not helping matters. Don't know if there's just a disconnect between he and Jalen. They're not getting along. I don't know what it is. They were beating the Cowboys 21-0 and lost 24-21. I don't know how you do that, but they did. So you start to look at Philadelphia with the side eye, and you're kind of like, are you guys okay? The Seahawks, dominant this year with Sam Darnold. Oh, don't the Vikings wish they still had him? Why did they let him walk out the door? I don't know. As an NFC North Packer fan, I could care less. As a matter of fact, thank you. The San Francisco 49ers are sitting at number 4, dominant, once again, sitting at 8-4, looking like a team that's going to make a run, and they're starting to get some of their pieces back. They lost some people earlier in the year. Kittle's back. Don't know if they're going to get Bosa back. And a couple of other key injuries they had that are, starting to, those guys are coming back. Brock Purdy back in the saddle. At number 5, the Chicago Bears, as I mentioned earlier. Now, looking at the best in the entire league, the Rams, as I said, I think are number 1. Then I have to put New England behind them at 10-2. Denver would come next, and then the Eagles, who are 8-3, but something about Philadelphia just doesn't look quite right. But they're number 4. And then I've got Seattle following the Eagles, the 49ers. The Colts are starting to slip a little bit. 3-4 weeks ago, we had them number 1, certainly in the AFC, if not the entire league. But they're starting to slide, and people are starting to look at Daniel Jones with the side eye and trying to remind him, Daniel, we're not in New York, okay? Anyway, they're sliding a little bit. Then Buffalo, definitely not looking like the team we thought they would be. I have them at number 8, followed by the Bears and the Jags. Who would have thunk it? The Chicago Bears in the NFL Power 10. But yes, there they are. And who would have thunk it that the Jacksonville Jaguars even would be there? But I think they are deserving at 7-4 of being in the NFL top 10. So there it is. And by the way, you're watching the Maurice Brown Show, brought to you by Magno's Dentistry out of Belo Horizonte, Brazil, the beautiful state of Minas Gerais. Now, we are going to look at some of the games that are coming up this weekend on Sunday. Matter of fact, before we even do that, we've got a matchup on Prime Video tomorrow with the Bears and the Eagles at 3 p.m. Eastern. Chicago goes into Philadelphia. That should be an interesting game. We're going to find out a lot about who the Bears are and where the Eagles are at this point. Primetime game, I think if you ask me, the Eagles will probably do a tap dance on the Bears. I would like to see them do a tap dance on the Bears. They should do a tap dance on the Bears. But the Bears are unpredictable. And if you go in there lollygagging around, as the Eagles have been doing over the past 4 to 5 weeks, they're going to lose to Chicago. But I'm not going to get crazy with it. I'm going to stick with Philly. I think they should win this game. That's going to be at 3:00 on Prime Video tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I'm sorry. That's going to be on Friday as we continue the holidays, celebrating the Thanksgiving holiday. That's going to be quite a treat. Now, let's go to the matchups on Sunday. I'm sorry. Those are the Thanksgiving matchups. We've already looked at that and talked about that. But the matchups on Sunday are going to be very interesting, starting with the San Francisco 49ers and the Cleveland Browns. Now, why is this game important? Well, because of that guy right there, Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders has won his first game as the starter. Kevin Stefanski has said that I don't know who my starter is going to be next week after beating the LA Raiders. Here's a guy that had not started with the first team all year and had done no practice reps. So finally, you get him ready to start against the Raiders after practicing with the first team. You win 24-10. You've got Myles Garrett, arguably top 3 defense in the NFL. Myles Garrett is the best player in the NFL. I don't think there's any question about that. And you got a guy that knows what he's doing. Now, nothing against Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel is a smart guy, but he's not really an NFL quarterback, and he doesn't have the skill set that Shedeur Sanders has. And yet Kevin Stefanski doesn't know what to do. Listen, stop being silly and start Shedeur and start winning some games. Or I would think that Kevin Stefanski should get fired if he can't make up his mind who his starter is by now. 1:00, 49ers at Cleveland. Normally, this is not a game you want to watch because the Browns aren't going anywhere. And the 49ers should be a beatdown. But with Shedeur Sanders now in the lineup as the starter and getting reps with the first team, hey, this could be an interesting game. Again, you've got Myles Garrett. The only thing that Myles Garrett and that defense needs in Cleveland is an offense that can perform at a decent level. That's all they need. They don't need to put 50 points on the board to win. 17-20 is enough with that defense to win every game, and they haven't been able to get that until now. Shedeur Sanders. Now, he's only played one game as the starter and won it, but let's see what happens. That they just need a little support on the offensive side, and they might have something cooking. So that's a game to watch on Sunday at 1:00, San Francisco and Cleveland. Also at 1, the Houston Texans, who seem to be resurgent, are taking on the Indianapolis Colts at 1 p.m. The Texans are 3-0 now without C.J. Stroud. Who would have figured that? C.J. Stroud started his rookie season looking like a guy that was going to be John Elway or Joe Montana or Peyton Manning or somebody like that, like he's going to have a great NFL career. Then the following season, he had a sophomore jinx, quote unquote, if you will. And then this year, didn't start out well at all and then got hurt. And so Davis Mills comes in, a guy that, you think of Davis Mills, you think of a Walmart or something, the name of a superstore. Anyway, Davis Mills is 3-0. And the Houston Texans actually have the best defense in the NFL. It's much like Cleveland. Just give me a guy that can move the ball. I don't need a world beater. I don't need Joe Montana. I just need a guy that can move the ball. And Davis Mills is doing that. And it makes you wonder, should he be proclaimed the new starter? Only problem is you're paying CJ way too much money for that. But the reality is he's looking better than CJ. They're taking on the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday at 1:00 in Indianapolis, and they're playing for the division. This is an AFC South matchup right here. Big time game. Going to be interesting. 1:00 in Indianapolis. And the other game of the day on Sunday is the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers at 4:25 in Pittsburgh. And Aaron Rodgers should be back for this one. I mean, you just don't know what to think about Buffalo. You can't trust the Buffalo Bills at this point. I could see the Steelers winning this game, and they would be right back in the playoff picture. And they need to win it. They're 6-5, and they could very well win this game. That's going to be 4:25 on Sunday afternoon. So there you have it, folks. The Maurice Brown Show here, bringing you the NFL's latest, and enjoy the games tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I want to thank Magnus Dentistry for sponsoring the Maurice Brown Show. We bring you the NFL edition every week, usually with Antoine, Real Stewart, and Aaron Moore. They could not make it today, but nonetheless, thank you for stopping by. And once again, happy Thanksgiving. May the peace of Jesus Christ be with you and your families. God bless.